Peace be unto you. How are you? Hope you are good. You're passing a jolly good time. If you're a beginner who wants to speak English fluently, I'm going to give you 6 tips to follow to become a fluent speaker, right? If you're a beginner, like if you are not a beginner, you have certain kind of quality, like you can speak English, but not that much fluent, still these 6 tips could be applied. Okay, so let's begin. Tip number 1: don't be afraid to make mistakes. This is the fundamental, instruction to follow before starting your speaking. Even anywhere you go, in any environment, what do you think? You think like, if I speak to that person, I shall make some kind of mistakes because I'm not a good speaker. So I should not speak English to him or her. It's kind of stumbling inside, something restricting you, okay, creating barrier in your way of speaking English. So don't be afraid to speak with anyone, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be quite very much focused about like whether you are making grammatical perfections or even vocabulary. Doesn't matter. What is the purpose of language? The purpose of language, I don't know why I'm looking somewhere else. I really don't know. But the purpose of language is what? Like, I'm a Bengali speaker, right? My mother tongue is Bengali. So when I speak Bengali, I don't care about Bengali grammar. Even there are a lot of grammars I really don't know. Sometime I might make grammatical mistakes even while I'm speaking Bengali. But do I care about that? No. The purpose of language is to pass through the message to someone else. This is the purpose. If someone is getting you, whatever you are saying, it might be, something like a sentence which has grammatical mistakes, even not proper vocabulary. Even. Doesn't matter. If the guy who is speaking, he's getting it, you are done. That is the purpose of language. So don't too much think about the grammar and vocabulary and other things. It doesn't matter. You just think about your language. I mean, how much you know the grammar of your language. It's pretty less if you aren't from a certain background. Like if I'm a background from Bangla department, where I have learned Bengali grammar in a perfect way. I'm not. So don't afraid to make mistakes. Number 1, don't afraid to speak to people. Number 2, don't afraid to make grammatical mistakes, and don't afraid to use proper vocabulary. Doesn't matter. Just continue your speaking. Okay, tip number 2: practice, practice, practice. Someone was telling me back in 2021 that we have like finished our university life, we have completed our graduations. It has been already 10 years, but still now, normally he was talking about himself, still now I'm facing some kind of problem regarding this speaking. I'm not fluent, but why? What's the reason? So I told him, you see, if you want to be a good writer, you got to write, right? You gotta be writing, you have to write. Otherwise, your writing wouldn't be in a specific status or quality. If you want to be a good speaker, you have to speak. If you don't speak, then how can you be a good speaker? Like, you can count upon yourself. In last 1 month, how many minutes, how many hours you have spoken English? Ask yourself this question. You would get it. If you see that you haven't even made 1 hour or 2 hours, even 3 hours speaking, and within last 1 week, I'm telling you, 1 week you haven't spoken like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours English, and you're expecting to be a glib speaker, a fluent speaker? How come? Come on, get out of your way and start speaking. Okay, today I'm going to give you some other tips you try to follow. It will improve your English quality. For me, I don't consider myself as a good or fluent speaker, but what I do think that I have a lot to improve, and that's when I've started creating this YouTube channel, so that I might speak and the guy who are trying to follow me, they might speak as well. Okay, so practice. Tip number 2, practice, practice, practice. Tip number 3, listen. There are a lot of sources on internet. You go to YouTube, you go to some kind of podcast. There are a lot of sources from where you can listen a lot of things. What are the things you should listen? The thing which you like you are interested about a specific background subject, a topic. Like for me, I'm really interested in like listening about science, technology, and the present situation of the world. Things are going on. So what is happening is that you just download something, or you use the internet from YouTube or some podcast. Listen. I mean, the more you listen, the more your listening capacity, more your grasping capacity of English would improve. Because you just think about how you have learned your mother tongue. Okay, like when you are a child, you were listening to your family members, you went to school, you were listening to your teachers, your classmates, and there certain kind of quality in your memory improved. Like when you listen something, then you can capture what kind of expression or words are being used. So if you don't listen, then your listening quality would not improve, and you will be ended up like not being a good speaker. So listening is very much important. You just make a schedule every day, schedule every day. Okay, like you want to listen like half an hour, 1 hour every day. Do it, try to do it. The channel or the video you like. If you are scientific person, you may listen scientific scientific documentaries or speech made by some guys. You can do that. If you can listen to BBC, CNN, if you have kind of interest about learning about the world, the contemporary issues going on in the world, you can learn from those sources. So what I'm telling you, just create a space and environment for you to listen, right? Okay, tip number 4, celebrate success. Why it is needed for you? Because inspiration is very much important for us to keep going on. If you are doing the tips that I'm giving you, if you are doing it like 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 days, after that you would think that I might give a break, I do something else. Why? Because the inspiration has gone away. So inspiring yourself is important also. Why would you like to learn English? Passion is important. So for passion, you try to celebrate your success. This is tip number 4. Try to celebrate your success. Success means you have created an environment, like in your house. You might find it difficult to speak someone else going outside. So you have created a space like, for example, a mirror in your house, right? So a mirror, in front of the mirror, you are just trying to speak. You stutter, you stumble, but still you are carrying on like 20 minutes or 30 minutes speaking. After the completion of your speaking, celebrate it. There are a lot of ways of celebrating, kind of like you can gift yourself a certain kind of food that you like. So celebration is important. If you celebrate the completion of your speaking journey, any type of like listening and some other stuff, then you just try to celebrate. It will inspire you. It will help you to keep going. So that is really important, of course. Okay. So tip number 5 is think in English. Very much important. Psychologists, they tell us that every human being, we talk to ourselves. Each and every single moment, we talk to ourselves. Each and every circumstance that we face, we talk to ourselves. This is like self-talk. So when you are talking to yourself, try to use English. Normally what happens is that what we think inside our brain while we are talking with ourselves, we normally think in our mother tongue. The guys who are not native English speakers, I'm talking about them. Like we think about our thought in our mother tongue. So don't do that. Try, okay? Try to speak in English. Whatever you are doing or whatever you are thinking, try to say to yourself in English. So when we think, we don't use our lips for sound, right? It's inside of us going on. So tip number 5 is think in English. Okay. Tip number 6, like talk to yourself. As I mentioned that you must create an environment. If you find it difficult to go outside, then you might create an environment to speak. For example, you can create, as I mentioned, a mirror inside of you. There, in every house you must have a mirror, because you have a lot of things to do in front of the mirror, like arranging your hair like that. So what is important, that you just create a space, like putting a mirror and stand in front of the mirror. You might pick up a topic and talk on the topic. You might take preparation before that. It's up to you. But if you're already, you have a vocabulary and you also some kind of minimum level of grammar, then you can start in front of the mirror, standing or sitting even, speaking. So, talk to yourself. The 6 tips, these are the 6 tips, and the 6 tips I've given you, if you just follow, if you carry on your speaking, then day by day, it's gonna improve. You see, the English that I've spoken for the last 12 minutes, have you got it? If you think that, the sentences I have used, you are getting, that means I'm successful in this language. Though it is one way, you have no option to speak with me. But if you have understood what I have said, that means I'm speaking, in a right way. I might make, maybe I have made some mistakes here. Doesn't matter. Have you got it? If you think you have got it, the purpose of me today giving you 6 tips is successful. Thank you very much. Try to follow your English, inshallah, it will improve. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.